Welcome into this Thursday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham, Neal, McCready, Clark Ford Studio here this morning. A rainy morning in Oxford. We're supposed to have a great week. It was supposed to be a fantastic week with no rain. That's what they said all weekend is get through this mess and you've got a wonderful week ahead. And it's rained like 3 of the last 4 days still anyway. I mean, I know it's April. I'm griping during the April showers, May flowers, the whole thing. But it's a little annoying, a little frustrated today as we are getting started. First of a 3-game set between the Rebels and the Bulldogs tonight from Swayze Field. It is a 6 o'clock start for that one. First of 2 podcasts for you today. Neal's going to hit the button on the hand raise guys later today.
Probably around noon.
Okay. I talked with Richard Cross for a while, almost an hour. We talked a lot of Mike Bianco. Richard and I have been around Mike for the majority of the of his tenure here in Oxford, and then Neal's going to speak with Tyler Siskey. Is that correct?
Yep. So I'm going to air your interview with Richard first, and then it'll be a live cast, and Tyler will join me live here in the Clark Ford Studios. We'll talk. I want to talk NIL with him.
Yeah.
Tyler has worked with Lane Kiffin before. He's worked for Nick Saban. I guess for a brief few days he worked for Lane, but I don't know if that really counts. But I kind of want to get his thoughts on. I don't think Nick Saban's whining. People keep saying Nick Saban's whining. I don't think he is. I think Nick Saban's sending a message to his fan base and also to the sport in general about NIL, where things are going. And I think Tyler agrees with me, but I'm gonna get his thoughts. Tyler has also looked at some of these quarterbacks that we're talking about. Marcel Reed's coming in for I think it's an official visit this weekend. I know he's coming in for a visit. I think it's official. I wrote this the other day. He's the quarterback from Montgomery Bell in Nashville. I think if Ole Miss pushes, they can get him. I think Jaden Rashada's NIL price is exorbitant, and I don't think Ole Miss can – I'm totally serious. I don't think Ole Miss can go there. Jaden Rashada was at Arkansas recently. I think his NIL price is too pricey for their taste. Arkansas was involved in Marcel Reed. I think Arkansas is getting a quarterback from a commitment from Malachi Singleton, a quarterback in Georgia, on Monday, which tells me that Arkansas feels like, hey, we're probably not going to get this done with Reed. They must think he's going to Ole Miss, and so I think there's a little bit of stuff there. So I'm going to get his thoughts on some of those quarterbacks. I also just kind of want to get his thoughts as someone who's been inside a program, multiple programs. He's coached at South Alabama. He's been at Alabama, at Ole Miss, of course. How he thinks, and Lane Kiffin referenced this the other day. I thought it was interesting. How he thinks it impacts the locker room when guys know that these incoming guys are coming in with massive checks. What does that do to a locker room dynamic? When you're the guy that's making 7 figures, but you're a freshman and maybe you're not playing yet. What is that like? I just think it's a fascinating topic. So we'll talk about that for a little while. It should make a good hand raise, guys. I'll have a live stream going on. Obviously, Chase's interview with Richard's pre-recorded, so they're not going to be able to interact with the stream. But Tyler and I will be able to if you want to be involved.
So that'll be around 1 should you get started on time for that portion of the show.
That'd be correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's that.
That's the plan. Taped with Troy Brown yesterday.
Yeah.
It's brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. That's being produced right now. It's got a little editing that has to be done because he got a phone call in the middle of the interview. It's the one negative about Zoom,
there's no pause.
Well, when you're using your phone as your device.
I didn't think about that. Okay.
Because you can't put it on airplane mode because then you can't connect to Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, it'll all be okay.
It's a little bit of a problem, isn't it?
It
could you put it on Do Not Disturb, which would then take you to? It would have to be like the multiple calls from a favorite to interrupt you. Because you're on Do Not Disturb, your phone.
That's a good idea. I'll try
Is that possible?
Yeah, I think.
But if you're actively using, does the Do Not Disturb function still activate?
Well, that's what I wonder is if you have it on Do Not Disturb, can you then accept a Zoom call?
I don't know.
Yeah,
just a thought there. Quickly, Blue Sky, Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford, to get $10. If you haven't done that already, you should have already. You listen to us every single day. Download the Exxon mobile app. Take a picture of the QR code right there at the pump. If you're coming into town this weekend, tons going on, so maybe you are You can take advantage of that. $10 off at the pump with the Oxford Exxon up and down I-55 and throughout North Mississippi. Lunch specials, $5.69, 2 sides spread, 32-ounce drinks, and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line. No hassle, no haggle. You get that quote, and the rest is completely up to you. You can shop it around, or you can do what I've done, what I recommend that you do, and that's hop into a Clark Ford today, 662-257-1900. Guest join on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline if you're coming up this weekend. Rafters is a good place to stop in, have a burger, po' boy, appetizer, full bar, a great beer selection and more. All of that at Rafters Music and Food on the Square in Oxford, and also Rafters in New Albany. Avery says that is what you do, that you start the Zoom and then you go to Do Not Disturb.
Really? And that will fix it.
Look at that. It's like a community here.
Okay.
You know?
I thought potentially that could be a thing, but I knew it could have some kinks too, so that's fine. A couple different things. We'll hit some baseball coming up, but that's not overly important at the moment. What somebody said about Saban, he's kind of taken this to the rubber chicken circuit a little bit. He's been discussing the negatives to NIL, is how I will phrase it, a good bit lately.
Yeah, he's having to recruit over it for the first time. For the first time in a while, it's a major obstacle for him on the recruiting trail.
And it's two things. He's right. He is accurate.
Yeah.
Also, he does not get a ton of people listening because they don't really care that Alabama feels trampled upon right now.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Like Alabama complaining about recruiting is like, oh, good God, shut up.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of, okay, Nick, it makes it sound more like whining than it is. I guess that's my point.
Right. Oh, it does sound like whining.
Yeah.
I don't think it is, though. I think he's been very factual.
Here's the question. It may be so, because, look, he has done this in the past on other topics. If he had an NIL machine going, would it be saying the same thing?
Probably not.
Hence.
But what he's saying is essentially what other people are saying too, which is what you're having here is, and it really nothing's changed. It's just there's a shift, a monumental shift that I think is happening right underneath our feet as to who the powers are going to be. Because for the longest time, Alabama was a national power, and I think some of that power is going to go away. And I think they're about to have a magical season, and that people are going to go, see, it doesn't affect them. That's so short-sighted.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Will Anderson and Bryce Young and all these dudes you've recruited over the years. But there's a shift. I mean, you can't deny without just being obtuse.
Sure.
You can't deny what Texas A&M did on the recruiting trail. You can't just ignore it and go, oh, well, they're just overrated. That's all the recruiting services are just up Jimbo's ass. Stop. That's so stupid. That defies logic. You can't look at what's happening with USC in recruiting, with Texas in recruiting, with Tennessee in recruiting, and not go, interesting. Interesting. You can't ignore what Arkansas basketball is doing, what Kentucky basketball is doing in NIL and go, No, that's where they've decided to dedicate their resources.
Yeah, it means two things. It means that it is absolutely something that is relevant and is changing the landscape to some extent, and we have no idea if it's sustainable or not.
Yes.
We have no idea year over year over year if this is what people are actually willing to put their money into.
That's why I keep saying
because corporations are mostly scared of it. They don't want to do it.
Yeah, because
it takes the individual who just wants to.
Well, I mean, look, we're not a corporation. I'm an S corp, I guess. We have some NIL deals through companies with players, and I do them. I don't know that there's a lot in it for us. I mean, are there people out there? Here would be the questions for the stream. Are there people out there who go, I wasn't going to subscribe to rebelgrove.com, but because they do an NIL deal with
Chance Campbell, Peyton
Troy
Chotnier, Brown, Mason Brooks.
Yeah, because they do those 4 NIL deals, I'm going to stick with them. I'm going to sign up with them. I'm not only that, I'm not going to sign up with their competition. I'm just going to sign up with them. I'm going to support them because through people, they support people who wear my uniform. I think the answer to that is no. And so and I could be wrong. I don't know. I've said this all along. I think we're watching an experiment in real time. Right? We're in the lab and they're pouring the stuff in the beakers and seeing what happens.
Well, because, look, from a tangibility standpoint, you need some of that from a straight business book thing, because if you do NILs, and look, this across the board. We could do it from our situation, but in general, if you're allocating funds to players, you're not allocating them other places. To yourself, to equipment, to travel, to all these different things that are coming along the line. So what is what's the tangible benefit to that? Is it, or are we just talking about goodwill? What is it? And I don't know. I think it's too early to know. Also, it's picking the right players from just like any average sponsorship deal. Across a number of levels there. Yeah, there's a good point there. Shifting power is not parity. Completely different. It just means different people.
Shifting, yeah.
That doesn't mean the number 25 team has any more of a chance than they used to.
I actually think there's could potentially be less parity in the NIL landscape.
The NIL landscape without the portal new rules would be absolute disaster.
Yeah, almost anarchy kind of.
Yeah. It would just be, if you only were talking about the structure of the top 100 players, 250 players in the country, it would be, the portal allows for a little more normalcy, if you want to call it that. Sure. But Saban's not wrong. I don't think it's sustainable year over year. I just don't. I don't think you can go to the same wells unless you, I think I can name an example. They got to really win for the guy to be as motivated next year. You roll a 9-3 and he goes, okay, what am I paying for?
Well, sure. Well, I've asked that.
Hang on, you want 200 more thousand?
I asked that question fairly recently where someone was about NIL, and I had to ask the question, what's in it for me? I don't think that's an unfair question as a business person. My job's not to protect the program. My job's not to support the program. My job's not to promote the program. My job is to cover the program. So what's in it if we do a package and we do all the work and we don't get a cent, what's in it for me? And so you're right. These companies that are doing stuff, if they're not getting any real financial windfall from it, unless the Aggies go become a CFP team every year, I think they start asking, is this really worth it? Because before I was dishing out $500,000 a year, you were going 8-4.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're going 8-4, and I'm just paying $500,000
publicly.
Yeah, and catching some hell for it. Wouldn't it just be easier for me to keep my $500,000 and to bitch at you for going 8-4? Yeah. Now, if they start winning and winning big, people might go, hey, it's worth it. This is awesome. Texas is joining the league. I want to humiliate them. That's why you and I have talked a little bit about UCLA recently because of, Kiffin stuff and all of that. Does UCLA, who right now is not only not particularly invested, but being somewhat haughty about it, not being invested? UCLA is the guy going, no, we're not doing this. This is stupid. You unwashed idiots over there. You look foolish. It's easy to do when USC is a 7-5 program going to the Sun Bowl, right? Finishing up the year in El Paso doesn't exactly rock the Los Angeles market. But if Lincoln Riley comes in there and suddenly they're a CFP team, well, now you have to reconsider. You have to look at it and go, okay, well, pride does go with before the fall here. Mm-hmm. We got to get engaged. And so that's what I'm saying. It's kind of it's really interesting to watch it all. It's where I give Kiffin just worlds of credit. By the way, the picture of Kiffin with the puppy yesterday is one of the funniest pictures. I looked at
really?
I looked at that picture and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. It's like, yes, I bought a dog. Oh,
you mean like, why is my picture being taken?
Yes, and hurry up and get it over with. And yet, I really like this cute puppy, but I don't want to do this picture, so let's go. I found it to be amusing. I find Lane more amusing than I do anything
his body
else.
language.
Just his body language makes me laugh. I'm the one half the time in the press conferences that is the one over there in the corner laughing.
Yeah. He picked up a pup from Wild Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, Lane, to his credit, has figured out.
What's he going to name the dog?
Something trollish.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, someone in the thread said it already, so I don't want to steal their thunder. But the one that I would love is if he named it Nick, or if he got one. The best one right now would be Jimbo.
Oh.
That would be great if he named the dog Jimbo. That would just be fantastic. Just to play along with it. And for the I don't think the two men really have any angst towards each other.
Whatever.
I think Lane's just doing his thing. And Jimbo, what's Jimbo going to do? I mean, in fairness to Jimbo, what the hell's he going to say? Hell yeah, we're buying all these kids. We can't use NIL. Technically, we can't use NIL as an incentive, but we did. About $25 million's worth. Did you see our class? Yeah. No, he's got to do the other deal. No, they're coming.
They came here because
of the 12th man and the North Korean band and the boy cheerleaders, and that's why they're here. They love College Station. They can't wait to get their ring. I mean, he's got to say that. I don't know.
The factory we're putting together, the whole deal.
Yeah. What's he going to say? I mean, I don't know. What do you want? What do you want people to say?
Yeah. You just smile and hope you win and move on with your day. Acting all pissed off is kind of dumb. But
it is, but
put my glasses on and get my notes and
bang
the table. Like, oh, shut up.
But I get the show. I mean, I was watching the show going, I get it. I mean, it's a show.
College football is a show.
Of course.
It's professional
But
wrestling.
to Lane's credit, he's not wasting a lot of time gnashing his teeth with trying to figure out a way to get into the NIL market on these prices for guys that instead he's been honest about it. I mean, he was exactly right the other day. What does this do to a locker room? You've been a part of a team before. I've been a part of a team before. If a guy's getting special treatment, it only works if that dude is special, right? Like if there's a different set of rules for the star and the star is carrying you to championships, cool, okay. I mean, you're a little pissed off about it sometimes, but okay. But if the star is getting special treatment and he's not playing well, screw that. Nah, coach. And so that becomes a lock. And Kiffin said as much. What happens when a Shea Patterson comes not picking on Shea here. Shea gets the big $4 million NIL deal and then he busts. Yeah. And he's not better than Jordan Ta'amu, who's not getting anything other than maybe a free beer at Funky's, right? I mean, what's the difference in the damn locker room? What's significant?
Yeah.
Does that become a distraction? Does that become something you have to overcome? One of the reasons Ole Miss was so good last year, we didn't do a good enough job talking about it. One of the two reasons that Ole Miss was so good last year was that the leader of that team was their best player.
Sure.
And that team had incredible chemistry. They liked one another. They respected one another. I'm not saying everybody got along and that there wasn't ever some infighting. But for the most part, everybody was pulling the same rope in the same direction, and it made them a very good football team.
And frankly, on both sides of the ball, they respected the hell out of Sam Williams and the journey he had taken.
Yes. Chance Campbell came in and earned their respect. Mark Robinson, all those guys. Yes. Jalen Jones had been there since the Nixon administration. I mean, there was a sense of these. We owe it to these guys, right? But that's earned in a locker room. And so if you throw in some dynamics, let's just take Ole Miss's locker room, for example. If you throw in those dynamics and you don't have that and suddenly you have some infighting and things like that, well, that does take away from what you're trying to do. And when your margin for error is kind of thin, that can be the difference between going 9-3 and 7-5.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. So I don't know how many people have to tell you that chemistry matters before you believe that chemistry matters. And you talk to coaches, and they'll tell you chemistry matters. And Kiffin has just talked about that. And to his credit, and I think it's everlasting credit, I think he saw it quickly and got into the portal. And the portal guys, like Troy talked about this some yesterday, the portal guys sort of consider themselves a class of themselves. Like, hey, we're a signing class, even though they're not all the same age.
Yeah,
and those are the guys that have come in and they've kind of gotten to know one another, and the program has taken them in. There doesn't appear to be any jealousy and all of that stuff. And but those guys aren't making 6 and 7 figures.
Yeah.
Some of them are making 5 figures.
All right, sure.
But they're not making,
the exorbitant money.
They're not making the crazy money.
Yeah.
So, even like it, I know I'm going on too long with this. I apologize. Even like at Texas, if you sign Arch Manning and the figures that are out there come to fruition, if he's awesome, great.
Sure.
But what if he's not? What if he's just good? What if he can't beat out Quinn Ewers? I mean, what if? I don't know. What if Ewers ends up being awesome? And you've got this backup quarterback with the big family name making all of that money? You kind of become a running joke.
It's a spinoff to that. There's something I actually saw yesterday I was going to mention anyway. We'll get to that
and then
second.
just real quick,
and
then the people who pay that money, right? If that kid doesn't play, don't they go, hey, wait a minute. You got me involved in this.
Yeah.
And now you're not, my show pony's not running.
Yeah, you told me that was the guy.
I'm here at the Derby. I want to see my horse run.
Yeah.
Why is my horse sitting in the stable?
Yeah.
I didn't come here to look at the horse in the stable. I came here to watch him win because I could tell all my friends, hey, look, that's me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all those dynamics are involved. We just really, like you said, to your point, you're exactly right. We just really haven't been watching it long enough to see all of these things unfold because it's so new.
No, it needs time to play out.
Yeah.
You need time to get the disgruntled situation that you're talking about. So, Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. All underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. So you get local underwriting and understand your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. You can find Jason at 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
We're also brought to you by Dead Soxy. Don't forget Jason Simmons will have a booth or a table or whatever.
Be in front of Nelson's.
He'll be in front of Nelson's 1 to 5 on Friday. Go by, say hello to Jason. He's great. You'll really enjoy getting to meet him. You get to check out some of the Dead Soxy brand and their stuff. You get to make suggestions to him. If you just want to talk about it, want to talk socks or whatever, you can do that with Jason. 1 to 5 out in front of Nelson's. If you're not going to be able to do that for whatever reason, it's okay. Go to deadsoxy.com. Use the promo code Rebel Grove. Get 25% off the best socks you will ever put on your feet. Game Changer patches are the only 2-patch system available in the market to stop hangovers before they start. The warm-up patch is used before or while you drink. The overtime patch used after you've been drinking to recover while you sleep. The all-natural ingredients will keep you in the game, ready for the next play. So go to GameChangerPatch.com, promo code RebelGrove20 at checkout for 20% off of your purchase. ACS is owned by my friend Clay McNutt. They're in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's a complete electrical control system solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. They've got a full-time dedicated emergency service and troubleshooting staff and a UL 508A panel shop. ACS can service and install Rockwell Automation, Allen Bradley, Siemens, ABB, Square D, and many other manufacturers. For more information or to get in touch with them, go to acsllcms.com or call 662-601-4381. We're also brought to you by Lammons Fine Jewelry in Oxford, 1126 North Lamar Boulevard. They've been serving the Oxford area for 3/4 of a century. Engagement rings, wedding rings, fine jewelry, watches, pearls, fashion jewelry, children's jewelry, collectibles, and more. Lammons is the gold standard in fine jewelry. Visit them at lammonsfinejewelry.com or call them at 662-234-2777. And mentioned the Troy Brown Show, mentioned Hand Raised Guys. Both of those brought to you by Comer Heating and Air, Southern Air Conditioning and Heating. Different names, but the same great people, the same great products, the same great services. If you live in Oxford, Tupelo, or the surrounding area, and you have heating or cooling needs, or you just need to make sure that your cooling system, I should say, is ready to get cranking when the hot weather arrives, call Comer, 662-801-1777. Meanwhile, if you're in Memphis, Hernando, DeSoto County, that area, call the people at Southern for the exact same thing, 662-429-4429.
Podcast is brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. Double Decker this weekend. If you're coming to town, use their website. It's a guide for you between the music schedule, art vendors, where people are set up. safety options, and many more things going on around this weekend with their annual event with Double Decker. Again, you can go to visit oxfordms.com, go to the events page, see all your different options for all those different things here this weekend. Again, visit oxfordms.com. Yes, mimosas in the vault on Saturday. That's actually a missed target that I would assume they could do pretty well with if you add that alcohol option during the season, especially day games. Just make them pre-made somehow or something.
Mimosas?
Yeah. I mean, 11 o'clock kickoff. I mean,
I really don't care what time the kickoff is.
7:30 kickoff. Give me the mimosa.
You're all good. I'm in on mimosas, man. I'd freely
because I mean,
take my man card. I don't care.
No, I love them too. Absolutely. You even get a little like creative. I mean, you're doing the Grand Marnier, like
just a little bit on the top. Not much, just a little. I don't want to mess it up. Prosecco, a little orange juice, a little Grand Marnier.
Yeah.
It does not have to be morning for me. No, sir.
Yeah,
I said, take my man card and have it. I don't care.
Keep your Bloody Mary. I will take the mimosa 10 times out of 10 between that and a Bloody Mary.
Oh, at a minimum.
I mean,
if I never had another Bloody Mary, I'm fine. If you told me I could never have another mimosa, I'd have to go have an emotional moment.
Ooh, Luke in the thread says there's a diner near him that has mimosas on tap.
Ooh.
Just learn how they did that.
Oh, my goodness.
Ooh. Feels dangerous. It feels a little dangerous.
I mean, now I want it.
Is the canned mimosa really though?
No, see, I don't see.
That's like those canned cocktails. Like, stop.
Because you want the prosecco to bubble, and you want. I mean, there's. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want. No, it's got to be good.
And you can just go cheap, use Prosecco. It doesn't need to be champagne.
No, it doesn't. Just Prosecco's great. Why take great champagne and pour orange juice into it? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, if that makes you happy, go for it.
You want to do that.
But you don't have to. Just a decent Prosecco is perfectly good in a mimosa.
Yeah.
It just is.
Grab a ton of La Marca and get on with your day.
Sure. It's fine.
He says it's in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Mimosa on tap diner. I mean, I think JM's right. It's probably the only way you could sell it is in a can. I understand that's the rules. But I would be trying to manipulate the law a little bit to figure out some other option.
Yeah, for sure.
I know a lot of people do the pineapple juice thing. That is not really I'll stick with the orange juice. So, yeah, I know some people love the Bloody Mary, but I wouldn't drink if that was the only alcoholic option.
Here's the thing, though, and I've always wanted to ask this.
Yeah, sure.
Are there some people who won't drink a mimosa and they'll drink a Bloody Mary instead because they view it as more masculine? They don't really like it.
Do you really think so?
I do. Sometimes it's like some of the alternative rock that people listen to. I don't think they really like it. I think they listen to it because it's cool. Or they perceive it to be cool. When in reality, when they get in the car by themselves, they're listening to Top 40.
Ooh.
It's a working theory.
You think Bloody Mary is the more acceptable in their minds
for guys
man brunch drink option?
Absolutely.
You don't have the flute and the whole
deal.
Yeah.
It's more masculine. You're like, look, I put a wedge of bacon in it. See? I'm a guy.
And I use so much spice and Worcester sauce, it's drowning me.
Yeah, it just puts hair on your chest, right? This put hair on your chest. I poured an extra shot of vodka in there just to prove to you how crazy I am. And there's some people that really like a Bloody Mary. Don't get me wrong, but I do believe there are some people who are drinking a Bloody Mary going, I wish I had that mimosa.
It's been my 5-year, 10-year take now. It's why the old-fashioned has been bastardized. People don't actually want an old-fashioned. They want something sweet, and it's made them use club soda more and muddle fruits. And bars have bastardized the old-fashioned because a lot of people who used to order them because Don Draper had them.
Well, you know the choir you're preaching to right now.
That's the reason.
Yeah, because you don't need all that stuff. Like if I see you starting to muddle fruit, I'm like, no. Stop. Take the rind. Just put
I'll have a Sun-Kissed, and then I'd like you to throw a little bourbon in it.
Yeah, I'll have a Jack and Sun-Kissed, please.
Oh, God.
Well, that's what you're drinking.
I know.
When you put soda water, muddled fruit, and bourbon in it,
You're creating quite the summer cocktail.
And then they're like, and here's some cherries. No, I don't know. Is it too early to start drinking?
Never. Even
JG has backed off this. JG has admitted that he likes mimosas.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it took him a while to get to that place, but he got there.
He is an eclectic cornucopia of thoughts. We'll say.
Well, Jay has started cooking. He's using HelloFresh.
Yeah,
and he's very proud of his
culinary skills now.
Yeah, and so suddenly he's backing off some of his hardcore stances.
I eat ketchup on one type of pizza. And I don't even do that. Honestly, I don't even do that anymore because I don't know the last time I've had a meat lovers pizza. But go ahead, it's fine. I don't mind. It's all good. Nostalgia is a powerful thing. Where are we falling on Tony Vitello giving $2 chest bumps for charity this week because he was suspended for chest bumping an umpire?
I guess if that's going to be his lane, then fine. Feels like he's
jumping the shark.
It feels like he's hurting himself long term, unless he wants to stay at Tennessee forever. At which point, okay, cool. But like suddenly, places that might have openings one day where he has natural ties might look at that and go,
where would that be?
Yeah,
Missouri. He did coach at Missouri.
Yeah, some of those people might look at it and go, that's not really what we want. That's kind of not our brand. You know?
Yeah. I get it. What I was going to say, I forgot this, and someone's going to go, hey, you never got it back around to this. I was watching a video yesterday, or I guess I was on YouTube trying to find something, and I ran across a Kobe Bryant interview, and it started playing, and I kind of just didn't turn it off for some reason. And he was talking about, it kind of relates to the NIL thing a little bit, of people getting frustrated and inside locker rooms, that he said when they were playing defense against certain teams, if they had a guy who had just gotten a max contract and they had another guy who was their second best player, but he hadn't got to that point yet, that they would do all they could to double him, freeze him out, and not give him the ball. And let the other guy, the max contract guy, kind of get loose a little bit and let him have a lot of things and make it almost create tension in between them. And he said that about half the time, it would have a very tangible impact on the game because that second best player suddenly is in his head and he's throwing up Hail Mary shots and he's doing all these different things trying to get his, especially playing the Lakers, obviously, and everything, that it created a chasm inside their thing, even on the court over 48 minutes.
Was that a Kobe thing or was that a Phil Jackson
thing?
Now
that I don't know. It's just Kobe telling the story.
Yeah. Kobe was a competitive genius. Yeah, I could see that. It's interesting.
It's one of the ways where, because I hate the algorithms and the way Facebook and YouTube and everything tries to show me what they want me to see.
Yeah.
But in my YouTube viewing, I'm obviously not going to come across a lot of NBA, a lot of Kobe Bryant. But I watched a couple, and now I'm getting more, and I'm getting more fascinated every time I see one. Now I'm finding myself watching more and more Kobe stuff over the course of time.
No, Kobe was fascinating. The whole career before what happened in Colorado, the career after what happened in Colorado, the career after his body began to break down, the Shaq thing, all of that stuff. And by the end, he was just a genius. Competitively. I mean, it's the impact that he had on the NBA, on today's stars, is kind of remarkable because those guys grew up loving him, worshiping him. I mean, when they were little kids, he was God. He was basketball God.
Well, he had to kind of, and he had to mature and grow up and figure out how to channel that in the correct ways. I mean, you got Phil Jackson telling the story that when Kobe was young and just coming up or whatever, and he was first trying to teach him how to play a little bit, he was reckless and he was too fast and he was doing some things. And he had asked Michael Jordan, he said, hey, can you talk to Kobe? You might be the one guy that he would listen to. Yeah. And they said they get in the room and Michael's like, hey, Kobe, whatever. And Kobe looks at him and goes, I'd beat your ass one-on-one. And it feels like, okay, David. All right,
never mind.
Whatever. Yeah. It's like, okay. He goes, all right, never mind. So, yeah. I'm going to save baseball after the next break in a second. We got a few minutes. Jay Wright stepping down at Villanova. Yeah. Out of nowhere, seemingly. 60 years old. Yeah. Looks younger than that because he's fit and always dressed and dapper and his whole deal.
He does always look great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just quintessential, exactly what you would what you would want. They've already hired the replacement. They got Fordham taking his place. He went 16-16, but obviously
he'll
he's a
be
good
fine.
up-and-coming coach.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. I think it was Seth Davis that wrote it. Said, obviously coaching is a great job, but a lousy profession. Talks about how you make a ton of money, you do all these things, but it chews you up. Jay Wright doesn't appear to be taking an NBA job. It appears to be he's going to go surf and hang out with the kids and chill out.
He's made a ton of money. He's 60. He's healthy.
We're going to see a lot more of that, aren't we?
Yes.
That is what's actually changing, is we're not going to see the 78-year-old head coach as much anymore.
I don't think so. The whole it's NIL, it's transfer portal, it's the one thing that the coaches talk about, and some fans push back, some don't, some get it, is with the portal the way it is today, and NIL the way it is today, and with recruiting, you have an early period and the late period, it's like you're never off. And people come back and go, yeah, well, you make $7 million. You don't deserve off. Well, not everybody's making $7 million, and people on the staffs that are working their way up are not making anything close to that. And so by the time you become a head coach and you get your money, you're getting to be kind of my age, and you're just burned out on it. And if you have the money, if you've preserved your money in a way, I think you're going to see more and more people walk away early. I think you'll see more and more coaches, especially position coaches, leave for the NFL when opportunities arise. I think it's going to be more and more difficult to keep coaches happy for a long period of time.
He shocked some people in the profession because Villanova seemed to be, not that any job, especially at that level in elite, is low stress, but one of the more low stress jobs, that maybe he was handling it better than everybody else. And maybe he was. That's why he understands, Hey, look, it's whatever. He stops with 2 national titles, 4 Final Fours.
Do you think he knew at the Final Four that, hey, this is the last run? Or do you think this was something that when it's been a couple of weeks when he said, okay, I got to re-hit the button, and the button wouldn't fire?
If he did know, I feel even worse for him with the kid getting hurt.
Yeah.
Because they had a real shot with that kid healthy to win. I get how good Kansas was, but that, if hey, this is my life, and you feel bad for the kid, obviously, but yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. No, I think I don't know that you think that in the moment, unless you were thinking that the entire season and the entire offseason. That's a reflective thing more than in the middle of the fire thing, I feel like. Unless there's some splice point, it doesn't feel like that's something that you just pop up in the middle of the NCAA tournament and go, nah, this is my last ride. I'm done.
Yeah.
Unless you get to the office one day and go, I just don't care like I did. I don't care enough. Because that happens.
Sure.
You get burned out and go, I don't have the energy to do this where I need to do it.
Well, you saw it with a couple of, Ole Miss ties. Chris Kiffin, when he came down here for a couple of days, what he told people was he realized when he went out on the recruiting trail that I just can't do this.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do this ever again. This is not right now.
Sure.
This is not how I want to spend my children's young years.
Yeah. The NFL is where I want to be right now.
Yeah, it's a better lifestyle. Then Matt Luke walked away from Georgia because after a vacation, he realized he did not want to go back. He wanted to see his boys grow up. Mm-hmm. These were formative years. He had the money coming, whether people like
He's doing some development stuff to kind of run out his contract, right?
Yeah, and he's going to do something else, eventually. But I don't know that it's going to be coaching right away.
Yeah.
But he's taking some time because he was burned out of it. They wanted to spend time with his family, and you don't, it's cliche, but you don't get those years back. Mm-hmm. I mean, the kids grow up, and you look up, and they're not little kids. Like we were outside a minute ago, and Laura pointed across the street. She said, "See that red bird?" And I made a joke. I said, "Red bird, red bird. Who do you see?" Because that book, and we laughed. You read that book 1,000 times to all 3 kids, and the book's gone now. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's over.
They don't care about the red bird anymore.
We're not going to read, hey, blue bird, blue bear, blue, whatever it was. Who do you see? That's all that stuff's over.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, that book.
Yeah. Brown bear.
Brown bear, yeah.
Yeah, that's
and just kids grow up, and if you miss it, you miss it.
Yeah. Podcast brought to you in part by Northeast Spark, NESPARC, 2 packages, the Ignite, the 100 Mbps, or the Blaze, the 1 gig that powers the Clark Ford studio. I've got it at home as well. Your hometown team bringing you world-class broadband. That's 662-238-3159, nespark.com. Portal Controls Network Security, also now in Union and Pontotoc counties where there were no internet. So if you're in there, you're obviously not watching the stream, but if you are listening to the podcast and you're in one of those two counties without internet, give them a call as well. Again, that is 662-238-3159.
The College Corner is your one-stop Rebel shop. 2 locations in the Jackson area and Ridgeland. It's next to Fleet Feet in Flowood. It's next to Half Shell. If you don't live in Jackson, it's not a problem. Go to collegecornerstore.com. Plus, you can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Whether you are tailgating in Oxford or home gating with friends and family, the College Corner has you covered for game day. Largest selection of Rebel gear in central Mississippi. We're brought to you by Pinnacle. Martin Palomo and I will have a Mind on My Money, I think, later today. I think that's the plan. That is brought to you by Pinnacle. It's mypinwealth.com. And we're brought to you by John Edwards, Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. If you're thinking about that summer vacation, maybe you're already kind of thinking about a holiday trip coming up, November, December, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. Just give him some parameters. Give him a budget. It's really important. And let him give you some options. You can sit back and do nothing, and he will come up with options for you. You don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first book trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. And we're brought to you by Opa, Oxford's newest restaurant on the square. If you're heading up this weekend for the series, for the Grove Bowl, for double-decker, for all of the above, head over to Opa. It's the newest restaurant on the square. Gyros, wraps, kebabs, redfish, lamb chops, handcrafted cocktails, frozen libations, an amazing candlelit patio, and more. 306 South Lamar, just south of the Square Courthouse. And we're brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. And we're brought to you by Whitney McNutt of Tommy Morgan Incorporated Realtors, serving you for all of your real estate needs in Oxford and Tupelo. Whitney sells condos, land, commercial, and residential family homes, and you can reach her at 662-567-2573 or 662-842-3844.
Podcast is brought to you by G&M Pharmacy, 662-236-2222. They're on South Lamar in Oxford, also with Tyson Drugs and Holly Springs on the square there. They deliver locally in the Oxford area, and they offer medicine. For your prescriptions the same day each month and take care of you. One trip to the pharmacy, one delivered, and you have what you need when you need it with G&M. So move your medications over. If you're at a big box pharmacy, you don't have to stay there. Give G&M a call, and they will make it easy for you. 662-236-2222. You know, you see that a lot of writers are at kind of the 10,000 feet view. They can't help it. They don't know every program in and out. It's not really a negative by any stretch of the imagination. But I was reading D1 Baseball put out their postseason projections yesterday, and again, those are irrelevant. They're click monsters, a lot like mock drafts for their sport.
Sure,
but it's a snapshot at the halfway point of league play, if nothing else. But he spends a lot of time on Mississippi State and their kind of analysis of it. Mark Etheridge did it for them this week, and the Bulldogs are at 81 in the RPI, something like that. I mean, they're in a terrible situation right now from a postseason standpoint. It's going to be very difficult for them to get in. But in his last couple lines toward the bottom, his last 2 paragraphs, he mentions Ole Miss as well, because Ole Miss and Mississippi State both out of the NCAA tournament, obviously, in their projections right now.
Sure.
Ole Miss is another preseason favorite on the outside looking in. The Rebels have lost 9 of the last dozen SEC games and 13 of their last 18 games overall. With 5 series remaining against whomever, the Rebels must find wins in a hurry. With an RPI of 58, their situation may not be as dire as the cross-state rival, but it's getting close, making these next 4 rivalry games even more important than they are normally. Ole Miss and State may be the most heated college baseball rivalry in existence, but the teams are rolling. They hate each other. Both programs are ornery at the moment, making this next one of the most heated and perhaps most intriguing in modern series history. Not for either team, in my opinion.
I don't sense that.
Ole Miss, frankly, is looking ahead to a coaching change, if we're honest, from a fan base standpoint.
Yeah.
And State is still pretty fat and happy. So,
yeah, sure.
They won the title last year. Are they happy? No. Are they a little pissed probably on how it's going? Sure. But you've had a bunch of injuries, and you got a title, and they go, this sucks. Hey, let's beat Ole Miss, but it sucks.
Yeah, I don't.
If anything, this almost. I'm not expecting Egg Bowl level electricity tonight at Swayze Field.
No, I expect the opposite of that.
Both teams kind of going.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I mean, Ole Miss has bigger fish to fry right now than Mississippi State. I mean, they need to beat Mississippi State, but it could be anybody else in the other dugout, and they need to beat them at this point.
I mean, if Ole Miss goes 3-1 against State in the next 4, they're back sort of in the mix.
Yeah.
To get into the tournament.
Your head's above the water.
Yeah. Because 58 is you can make 58 30. State's in a spot where 81, it's hard to make that inch of anything.
For State, realistically, you've got to get red hot. And it can't be, hey, we beat Ole Miss. Okay, let's have a party. No, you got to move. You got to keep beating the hell out of everybody you play, and that's not realistic if you've watched them play. Yeah, and you're right. They've won a national title. They've had injuries. They've got built-in excuses, if you will. Yeah, do they want to beat Ole Miss? Of course. But are they over there spewing venom and breathing fire? No, I don't think so.
Yeah, Chris Lamonis didn't wake up this morning and go, oh, God,
he didn't wake up this morning, I'm guessing, and go, I hate this place. I can't. I just don't see it. It doesn't feel that way. And
he saw it as, we really need to win some baseball games. Just inside a season vacuum is all he's focused on.
Yeah, he's thinking about his pitching plan for tonight.
Yeah.
They've
actually gotten pretty decent pitching the last 3-5 games. They played well against Auburn last weekend.
They actually pitched it okay against Arkansas and LSU. They just didn't win a lot of those games because those teams are healthier and better than they are right now. I mean, it's really that simple. I think Peyton and I are going to tape later this morning. I'll ask him about that. Is like this acrimony? I doubt it. It doesn't feel like.
Here's the problem for Ole Miss, and I'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
They haven't won against them. It's hard to have acrimony when it's been one-sided. But
State's kind of dominated the series in recent years.
16-3 in the last 19 games.
Wow.
So here's that for you.
I'll ask him. What do you attribute that
to?
Ole Miss
what do you attribute? Ole Miss went 4-0 against Mississippi State in Oxford in 2015. You might sort of kind of remember this in the back of your mind. Ole Miss was down 7 or 8 runs in the 9th inning, came back, tied it on Sunday, won in the 10th inning, and took the series. They won in Pearl, and it was the first time they'd gone 4-0 against the Bulldogs in a long time. That was a pretty mediocre Ole Miss team. Since then, State has gone, and I guess maybe since one more year or whatever. I don't know when it started. But, yeah, State has gone 16-3 in the last 19, including sweeps in Oxford in 17 and 19. Ole Miss has really, really struggled against the Bulldogs. They have not won a game in Oxford since Nick Perkins hit that ball to win the game in the 10th inning in 2015 against Mississippi State. And I'll get to how I think that's kind of relevant in a second. But just looking quickly, D1 has Ole Miss the third team out right now, alongside Tulane, Illinois, and Cal Poly. They have Louisiana Tech, the very last team in the field right now, should they not get the automatic bid.
Okay.
Obviously, Tennessee, the number 1 overall seed. They have Auburn, the number 2 seed in Statesboro, Georgia. Georgia Southern, a host school there. They have LSU, a 2 seed in Coral Gables. They have Texas A&M, a 2 seed in Fort Worth. Scrolling through SEC teams. Georgia, a host. They're trying to hang on. They got great news, by the way. Cannon's pitching this weekend, so we'll see what that looks like. That changes Georgia's whole season.
It was Florida that lost the ace, right?
They lost Barco yesterday. Yeah. He's been shut down for elbow discomfort.
Oof.
Yeah, not the best situation. Vanderbilt, a 2 seed at Georgia Tech in Atlanta. Good luck, Jackets.
That guy. I mean,
Danny Hall goes, oh, come on.
Yeah. I mean, the spew of F-bombs that would come out. Oh, my God. That's... F-bomb.
The little engine just chugging along to Atlanta. Just here we go.
Ah, son of a... Yeah, just throwing stuff.
Arkansas, the number 5 overall seed. Louisville, the number 2.
See, I don't know that Arkansas can be the 5, though. Their RPI is not good enough for that.
No, it's projecting that they will continue a path in a lot of ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise, you don't even have Ole Miss in the top 90. I mean, they're 5-10 in the league. You don't even have them.
You're getting them to 14 and 16, and those 9 wins bumping you to
Sure. You're doing that. Southern Miss, the number 6 national seed.
Wow, hell of an accomplishment.
Running back the regional from last year a little bit. They had Florida State as the 2, Alabama as the 3, headed to Hattiesburg. Obviously, just Florida State in the Ole Miss one. They have Florida, a 3 seed in South Bend, Indiana. Notre Dame, the host. That becomes more complicated if Barco is out for the rest of the season. Dallas Baptist, the number 10 overall seed. Dan Hefner, such a good baseball coach. And then that's it from an SEC standpoint. They have Gonzaga, the number 8 overall seed. What this is telling you is it's the perfect year, as you said the other day, to move this bitch around.
Yeah, it's kind of what I'm expecting.
Because a lot of the powers are down, the leagues are all thrown off everywhere. Like they can be creative.
Hey, we have an excuse to grow the game.
Yeah, I mean, this out of the 16 national seeds, just the few that really stick out: Gonzaga, Oregon, Southern Miss, Notre Dame, Georgia Southern. And the rest are powers. But, yeah, I mean, that's interesting.
And regionally they get to move it around because out of the 16 you have, what, 2 SEC hosts or 3?
3. They had Georgia, Tennessee, and Arkansas.
Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, technically Auburn would probably be the next fringy host, and they're not in the conversation.
Yeah.
But I think they're 4th in the league probably right now from an overall resume standpoint. Them or Vanderbilt, however you want to phrase that. I mean, Vanderbilt's under 500 in the league at 7-8.
Got to give Gonzaga credit. Their athletics department is more than just basketball, I guess.
And they don't play football D1.
No.
Yeah, State has pitched pretty well, actually. I'm looking at their stuff. They actually have – both teams have named 3 starters apiece, which is somewhat of an accomplishment in and of itself, but nobody went TBA. Ole Miss going to Lucia, Elliott, and Derek Diamond. I still come back to if Elliott is your game 2 starter, him not pitching last week makes no sense to me. I don't really understand it. And then State going Brandon Smith, Preston Johnson, and Cade Smith. Decent chance that Parker Stinnett comes back, pitches in his hometown. Oxford kid playing for the Bulldogs. So you have that extra storyline. 6 o'clock tonight, SEC Network. So actual TV tonight for that one.
Oh, good.
Friday, SEC Network Plus, and then on ESPN2 on Saturday. So 2 of them are national.
What time's the Saturday game?
Saturday is at 3:30 because the Grove Bowl's at noon.
Yeah.
So 3:30 for baseball on Saturday.
I'm anticipating a short Grove Bowl. What's the TV?
Well, when they didn't even know the
well, when Lane said, I will talk about tackling and stuff later, I laughed. I thought, no, he's done.
Y'all are not doing anything,
yeah,
actually.
So you're going to play some flag and then let the 4th teamers scrimmage.
We had this conversation more last year as things were going in a weird way when Ole Miss was not faring well. And it matters. The national title matters. But I do feel like, for the most part, Ole Miss is frustrated by their own ship. I don't necessarily think that anything going on right now, for the most part, that State dominating these series in recent years like that, to that level, even though that's ridiculously dominating, and State winning the title, it's not one of the 3 reasons why we're sitting right now, in my opinion. It's there and it's hanging into the background.
Yeah,
but the LSU thing, just how you're being there in general, and the perceived staleness of 22 years are all far and away higher than whatever State is doing down the road, in my opinion. Because he's still getting fired if he's 16-3 against State in the last 19.
It's interesting. I still think, and I hear this from people, and you know far more Ole Miss people than I do, and I think you know more Ole Miss baseball people than I do, but I still have the day that gets brought up more is the Tennessee Tech Monday. That gets brought up with in my circles more than
I mean, I guess that's my point. It's we just didn't take care of business. It's not we can't beat the team down the road.
Because I think that's the day that, like if you want to have the scholarship argument, for the love of Jesus, I don't. But if you do, you can't have it about Tennessee Tech. Mm-hmm. You can have, hey, we went to Fayetteville and on day 3 lost, and they've got more scholarships than we do. Okay, they do. Even last year, you could go, well, Hoagland got hurt, and who knows what it would have been if Hoagland wouldn't have gotten hurt. But but when you had opportunities, you spit the bit. Like the year they lost to Tennessee Tech was a real opportunity, and they spit the bit.
You lost to 2 seeds, and I get it. I get you lost to 2 seeds in 6, 9.
Yeah, just it accumulates. And then this year, I think what it is people look at the team and they look at the roster and they look at the problems they're having, and they're like, "This is recruiting. This is development. This is a program slipping." Is it? I don't know. You would know that better than me. But that's what I think people look at it and go, hey, and next year's probably not going to be much better. I hear that a lot too, which is, next year's not going to go much better. I think one of the things that for State is kind of a salve, if you will, to the wounds this year is that they look at what they have coming in next year and like, we're going to be fine. He's recruited at a really high level. Then they look around and they see, Auburn's there, and the guy at LSU is recruiting at a really high level, and I think most people think LSU is going to be back sooner rather than later. Arkansas has been a consistent power. Yeah, they had that where they didn't win it in Omaha, and then last year they didn't get there, but here they are yet again, and it appears they're going to host yet again, and you know what I mean? So that's what you're up against, and I think it's over. I've said that to you, barring a miracle, and I do mean a miracle. I think it's over, and I don't think it has anything to do with losing to State.
No, because it would take a regular season and a postseason miracle. Yeah. You'd have to get hot, get in, and then win a regional.
Yeah, you'd have to go on the road and do something they've never done because a host regional's out of the picture. It's not happening. So unless they went 13.
So you could host a super before you could host a regular one.
Yeah, to host a regional at this point, you probably have to win 13 SEC games from here. Not 13. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
12 to 13.
12. 17 to 13 is getting you over. Because you'd be 12-3 in your last 15.
I was giving them 17 and then
frankly, even
the Mayor's Cup.
Frankly, even 11-4 gets you a host. Okay. 16-14 with that level of run on the back half.
Right. But the odds of that, if you've watched the team, the odds of that are not good.
We're playing in the clouds.
So, if you told me that they went but that would include winning a road regional, something they haven't done, and then either going and winning a road super regional, which they have done once before, or getting fortunate and one landing in your lap, and then winning it.
Well, that's worst case scenario for Keith Carter, is making a super regional and losing it.
Oh, I don't even think it would be difficult at this point. I think the writing's on the wall. I do. I think because here's the thing, Chase, that I think's out there, and I wrote about this in 10 Thoughts, and maybe nobody saw it or maybe nobody cared. I don't know, but nobody commented on it. Let's say this weekend doesn't go great. Mm-hmm. Let's say they win 1. Let's say of these next 4 games against State, they win 2. Okay? Sure. And they go to Arkansas and win 1. That's nothing catastrophic, but it's not good enough at this point, right? That's probably it's just you're digging your hole a little deeper. If you're 3-4 in your next 7 games. That next series at home, I think, is Missouri, May the 5th or 6th or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't have the dates exactly in front of me. There's no double-decker. There's no spring football.
Kids are leaving.
Kids are taking finals and getting out. You have graduations and stuff, but not everybody who goes to a graduation event wants to go to a baseball game. And it's kind of dead. And I think that's where people look at it and go, okay, this is not what we built it for.
Well, no, and I agree. You're exactly right. I guess my argument where that's worst-case scenario is that to get to that point, they would have to be white-hot. He would have to fix a ton of issues.
Yeah.
Would have to win a regional. And then you still lose, but you go, you've been in the Sweet 16 3 years in a row, including that coaching job on the back half when a team was dead.
Yeah, and you could be right. I'm not.
But do I expect that? No, I'm just saying that's worst-case scenario.
It puts kids,
because fans are still pissed.
Yeah, and I think that's why he would make a move.
Yeah, that's the problem there.
But
again, head in clouds.
Yeah, and to get white hot, it's got to start this weekend. You'd have to win 2 this weekend, win on Tuesday, go to white hot to me is going to Arkansas and winning a series.
No, it's winning 4 of the last 5 and throws a sweep or 2 in there.
Yeah, if you said, okay, describe white hot, I'd say, okay, you took 3 out of 4 from State in some fashion, 2 out of 3 at Arkansas, came home, swept Missouri.
Took 2 out of 3 from LSU and 2 out of 3 from A&M.
Yeah, and that's okay. Now you're cooking with gas.
But
and someone goes, okay, well, we could do that. Well, yeah, but what have you seen in the first half that makes you think that's coming? Yeah. It would take some sort of a spark.
Yeah.
And look, DeLucia could go out there tonight and throw 7 innings of 2-hit baseball, and you win a game and save your bullpen, and you go into Friday and go, okay, let's win today. And that's that. All jokes aside, winning streak starts with 1 game. And then you get 2, and then, hey, guys, 1 more win, and we have a winning streak.
Peel the layer.
Yeah, and you start doing the thing. The flip side of that,
It's going to take more than Rachel Phelps right now.
yeah, the flip side of that is that you go out tonight and you don't get a win, and you press on Friday and you don't get a win, and Saturday's kind of press. And if you're going to talk about head in the clouds, I think you have to talk about that scenario too, because it appears to be every bit as realistic.
Podcast brought to you in part by Johnston Hill Creamery. Johnston Hill Creamery right there on White Oak Lane, just off Molly Bar in Oxford. Small batch artisanal cheese shop, making all their cheeses locally and in-house every single day. Charcuterie, bakery, catering, grazing, and more. 662-419-9201. Cheese at johnstonhillcreamery.com. If you hurry, you probably can still get some orders in for double-decker here this weekend, but I'd get on that as fast as possible. And remember, their lunch menu is up and ready to be ordered from. They also are doing Fetch delivery, open 10 to 4 most days. You can go to Fetch, get Johnston Hill Creamery with their gourmet lunch menu right there to your door. So again, 662-419-9201.
We're also brought to you by Service Specialist Staffing and Recruiting Agency, connecting job opportunities to candidates since 1967. If you're on the job hunt, whether you're seeking an entry-level position or you're a seasoned professional, they have opportunities across the board. Their goal is to get to know you, your strengths, see what you're looking for in your next career move, help you find the right fit. It's free for the candidate. All conversations are kept confidential, so you have nothing to lose by giving them a call. But if your company is looking to hire quality, hard-to-find talent, Service Specialists can help you too. Keep in mind that payment of service is solely contingent on if you decide to hire a candidate that they send. You have nothing to lose, so give Will, Sydney, or Kelsey a call at 662-832-5138 or check out their new and improved website at servicespecialistltd.com. I will indeed be taping with Peyton Chatney here in the next hour and a half or so. Have that up to you as quickly as I can. Might be mid-afternoon or so, but we'll get it to you. That's brought to you by The Rogue. It's your destination for fine men's clothing. They're stylists, hand-select pieces from top designers, from work to lifestyle to nightlife. There's the perfect something for everyone at The Rogue. All the best items from Peter Millar, Martin Dingman, Jack Victor, Halsey, True Grit, and more. 4450 I-55 North in Jackson, or therogue.com. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new. Step forward and chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental Corinth Dental will help people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing available at corinthdental.com. Brought to you by Bell & Grove, based out of Chattanooga. Daryl Oliver and Evan Dial built Bell & Grove. It's a logistics provider with more than 35 years of transportation industry experience. They specialize in domestic freight movement throughout the U.S. For more information, you can call them at 865-672-6557. And Southern Traditions Farm has their camp schedule out. Monday through Friday camps, 8:30 until 2 each day out at their 68-acre, 32-stall, upscale equestrian training and boarding facility in Canton, Mississippi. Get in touch with Susan Walt or Bowers Cone on Facebook or Instagram at Southern Traditions Farm. Starts May the 30th is the first camp, all through the month of June. Multiple camps, so check that out at Southern Traditions Farm.
Podcast is brought to you by Prime Shrimp, primeshrimp.com. So someone on the stream just placed an order. Appreciate you for that, including their new flavor they have going, the garlic herb butter. Most versatile offering yet. Taking the shrimp and the garlic butter sauce. You put over pasta, rice, veggies, shrimp scampi, surf and turf alongside a steak or whatever you like. They have that option. The French Quarter Alfredo that goes directly over pasta and gives you a meal. Also, there are two more simple seasonings. The Signature kind of has a garlic flavor to it. It's great. And then Louisiana Shrimp Boil for a spicier option for those who would like that variety. MPW, that code gets you $20 off your first order at primeshrimp.com. Remember, about 10 minutes from freezer to plate for shipped directly to your door. So, again, primeshrimp.com. Yeah, so 6 o'clock tonight for the start of that one. Okay.
Oscar Tshiebwe. Can we talk about that for a minute? I was not aware of this until you broke this basketball news to me today.
Yes, he is coming back for his senior season. Or whatever it is. Sorry, not senior. I don't know.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Another season.
Yeah.
Tshiebwe, the SEC Player of the Year, National Player of the Year.
I'm glad he's going to get to play against the other. Like, we get to see. The statistical things.
You're just making my job harder. That's all you're doing. That's all you're doing right now. Everybody's already mad at me.
Sorry.
No, but it's fair. I mean, I didn't make the comparison.
Why is it, real quick before you do this, why is everybody frustrated? What's going on with this Shaedon Sharpe kid, the Kentucky player?
He's going pro.
But he's not supposed to be eligible? Like, people are raising hell about whether or not he should actually be eligible because of when his graduation date was.
Kentucky people are upset?
The Kentucky media members are pointing out that there should be issues on him being eligible for the draft, and people seem to be very issued.
No, he's eligible.
Okay. I mean, I don't know.
And he'll be the 6th or 7th pick in the draft.
Okay.
He's not going to play at Kentucky. I know that's hard for them, but he's not going to play at Kentucky.
Okay.
He's going pro. He could.
And to Kyle Tucker's credit, he says if Shaedon Sharpe has been ruled ineligible for the draft, as has been speculated, people are doing that. Kentucky staff doesn't know it. I still expect to see a slickly produced announcement video by the weekend, and NBA sources say that he will be eligible should he declare.
Yeah. Yeah, I listen to a lot of NBA stuff, and people who are informed say that Shaedon Sharpe will be in the draft. If there's a guy that could rocket up the charts, we're getting away from the topic. I'm sorry.
I'll come back. That's fine.
He doesn't have the wingspan that you want for that spot, short arms and all that, but the guy has super skills. He's got a chance to. If you told me somebody outside of Jabari Smith and Chet Holmgren and Jaden Ivey and Paulo Banchero slipped into the top 4, I would tell you it was Sharpe. I don't think you will. If you told me that Sharpe was the 5th pick in the draft, I'd buy it.
So a couple different things, and we will get back to Tshiebwe in a second. Active college basketball coaches who have won a national title. Now with all this turnover going on.
Active college basketball coaches.
Want to take a shot at it?
Calipari.
There are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Calipari.
That is correct.
Izzo.
That is correct.
Obviously Self.
That's correct.
Trying to think a minute.
They were all gettable, was why I ask you this. You'll be mad at yourself if you miss any of them. And then we won't spend a ton of time on it. But
Drew.
Yep. Scott Drew.
Yeah.
Baylor last year.
Yeah, not Bryce, but Scott.
Yes. You got 3 left.
Okay. Oh, I'm hating myself already. The guy at Virginia.
Tony Bennett.
Yeah, Bennett.
Yep. 2 left. One guy has 2, one guy has 1.
One guy has 2, one guy has 1. Okay.
Bill Self and this guy are the only 2 with 2.
Okay. So somebody's been around a while.
Yep.
Jim Boeheim.
He is the one with 1.
Okay.
Missing 1. I'll give you a little bit of a hint. It's a little bit of a trick question because you're not thinking of where he is now as one of the places. But he has 2 titles.
Okay. Rick Pitino.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Those are the 7. Good job. The Athletic has a really interesting story that's kind of funny on LSU basketball for those who find the portal on the other side when you get devastated. It says by April the 1st, every scholarship player at LSU was in the transfer portal. Adam Ben-Ha-Hoon was the last man standing. All of a sudden, I'm the guy the new staff is asking where to go get new barbecue. And he's the one dude that's left on the
he's it?
Yeah, he's it.
Wow.
He's the only guy left on. The freshman walk-on is now the only player remaining on the LSU basketball team. So, yes. So, to Tshiebwe.
He was going to be a second-round pick.
Yes. Which means
no guarantees.
Yeah, no guarantees.
And you were telling me Kentucky has put together $2 million worth of NIL?
That is the word going around the stratosphere is that Kentucky has Tshiebwe somewhere around a $2 million situation. Yes.
So he's going to make more money at Kentucky than he would have made playing in the G League. So he probably would have gotten a 2-way deal with an NBA team. A 2-way deal means that you're on the NBA roster, but you're going back and forth between the G League and the end of an NBA bench. And sometimes those guys work out. More often than not, they don't. They end up overseas. I mean, everybody loves to do the stories about the guy that, was playing in the NBA that was a second-round pick and blah, blah, blah. But listen, most of the cats in the NBA that are playing are first-round picks.
There was a lot of hang-ups, too. He's the first unanimous National Player of the Year to come back in 14 seasons. And
oh wow,
there were lots of hang-ups for him in NIL even because he's an international kid. So there was stuff that had to go on. Like one of the staffers at Kentucky apparently was a maestro on figuring out, not getting him deals, but figuring out how even he would be eligible compliance-wise to take advantage of some of these things.
Gotcha.
That was going on with that. I don't have the guy's name in front of me right now. The director of player development, TJ Bessner or Beisner at Kentucky. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
But yes, apparently a ton of stuff. He's got tons of I'm back merchandise going. Kentucky fans buying it off the damn racks,
Sure.
as you would imagine.
Sure.
But they think that all the values will be coming in.
And they have a big-time
in
class coming in, too. So, he's the anchor of a team in much the same way that I think you're going to see Jalen Williams announce officially that he's coming back to Arkansas. And they've got a big-time class coming in.
And as Kyle Tucker mentions, he says, no small thing. Oscar has a chance now to go down as an all-time Kentucky legend. That NIL value is actually for a lifetime. People love him already, but get the Cats another Final Four banner or a title, and they'll buy from Tshiebwe Toyota forever.
There's no doubt. No question about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's hard to argue.
He made the right choice.
Yeah, sure.
And frankly, even if he gets hurt,
that's
the point.
In the same way that if you can be the 6th or 7th pick in the draft, you can't go back.
Yeah.
You have to go pro. There's too much money. Jalen Williams is getting the same score, right? He's being told, hey, you have a chance to go late first round, but you're probably a second-round pick because in the NBA, you need your bigs to shoot. You're going to draft a guy with the first-round pick, he's got to be able to knock a shot down or have an elite skill. And drawing charges is not it. So I get it. Yeah, Tshiebwe's doing the right thing. Absolutely. And you hope for his sake that he has a big year and that it turns into that. But yeah, that's fan bases will reward loyalty, especially a fan base like that one in that sport.
Yeah.
Because if you've never been to Rupp for like senior night, you don't really understand it. And I don't mean that to sound condescending. I didn't get it until I was at Kentucky for, was it Saul Smith, Tubby's kid?
Yeah.
His senior night, and there was another couple of guys. And, dude, I mean, I was like kind of like getting teary-eyed almost. It was incredible. It's just a different deal.
Saul played Kentucky or Georgia? Was he Kentucky?
Gigi played at Georgia.
Okay, gotcha.
Saul played at Kentucky.
Brian played here.
Brian played here.
Yeah.
But it was different, and yeah, it's I can see it.
Yeah, it's a good point. Gender says his mom had not seen him play, not even on TV, because she's in the Congo.
Oh wow! They're trying to get the mom to Kentucky, right?
I didn't read through it enough to.
That's what I've kind of intimated or heard.
Okay. So, yeah, seismic stuff from NCAA basketball there. I'm sure Kentucky will be decent next year. We're all shocked. And the SEC is going to be a bear at the top.
Yeah, it's going to have some really good teams.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I know Auburn's losing Kessler and Smith. They're still going to be really good. Alabama's going to be really good. Tennessee's going to be really good. Kentucky's got a chance to be elite. Arkansas's got a chance to be elite. A&M's going to be very good. Borderline elite, I think. I mean, A&M is the team. You want to bet on a team now, get some money? Aggies.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's why I kind of watch what Ole Miss is doing, and I just shake my head a little bit. I don't see it. I don't see a path in this league to what they need to do to kind of silence stuff. Maybe I'm dead wrong. But the path, it feels like, okay, hey, we need Deshaun Ruffin and Matt Morrell to be superstars damn near every night. And that's doesn't typically work like that.
Shea Robinson, the women's basketball coach at Ole Miss, the assistant who is the reason that Shakir Austin came to the Rebels, has accepted an assistant position at Louisville.
Okay.
So there's that. Also, Grant Slatton committed to Tennessee Tech to continue his career.
And I was so happy for Grant. I mean,
Found a spot.
Found the spot where he should have gone in the first place.
Yeah.
And they offered him in the first place, and
He'll have the right career now.
Yeah. And I'm trying to do that in a way that I'm not being critical. All Grant Slatton did was take a scholarship offer.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I was happy for him that he ended up there, and I hope it goes really well. From all accounts, he's a super kid.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Hand raised guys coming to you a little later today. Richard Cross, Tyler Siskey on that one. And then Ole Miss baseball tonight from Swayze Field, 6 o'clock for the Rebels and the Bulldogs. Grove Bowl, noon on Saturday.
That's correct.
3:30 for basketball. I mean, for baseball, not basketball.
No,
baseball.
not basketball.
There's not a basketball
There's
game at
not
3:30.
a basketball game.
So those are only in Kiffin's driveway. We're done with that for the season.
Yeah.
So, all right. Have a good day. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.